Hey YouTube, it's your boy Big G back with another review. And today I watched a movie called The King. Now, this movie was on Netflix. I believe it's a Netflix original called The King, and it was quite surprising to me because honestly, I actually really liked it because there were some twists and turns that they weren't unexpected. I didn't expect them when they came. So in that sense, they were unexpected. Like, you know what I mean? I got enough twists and turns to feel like, okay, the movie is done, and then it gave me another one. It was like that. It was so overall, it's a really good movie. I feel like if you like, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and pretty much any historical battle movie or even like Vikings, the TV show. If you like any of those things, like I'm sure you're gonna like this movie. So it's definitely worth a watch. It is like serious. There is no like comedy to it. It's serious. There's a heavy British accent to it, so it might be like sometimes where you don't understand stuff, but definitely a movie worth watching, and I recommend everyone watching it. Okay, so spoiler alert. I'm just going to talk about a few spoilers here, what I thought about the movie and whatnot. Um, so, I thought, okay, so the movie is, of course, about a young king who becomes king because his father dies. Now, at first, when I was watching the movie, it was a bit confusing to me because I didn't know the initial king, like, what region was he the king of? Like it was sort of unclear, and then I found out that yeah, he was the king of England because when he first met his eldest son, who does become king after, he referred to him as the Prince of Wales, but then Wales was in open rebellion or something, and so was Scotland, and I was like, so where is this? Like, which king are you? Plus, like some of his allies were also in open rebellion, so it was nice to see how they showed like a king that is very not naive but just very eager to battle, just very easily insulted and just jumps to every battle occasion and keeps upsetting people, keeps making enemies and somehow and then at the end still is living, but then illness gets to him and he dies, and he not only technically kills himself, but he also sort of kills his younger son by sending him into battle, even after knowing that his son is soft, his is not ready to battle. He has no experience in battle, and he sends him to battle. And his older brother saves him once, but he couldn't save him twice, and therefore he dies. And that was, I think, portrayed very well because that really amazingly paved the way for the older son who doesn't like his father, who is a drunk, who parties and just relax and doesn't want anything to do with the kingdom, has to become king, has to take on the responsibility, and has to deal with all these issues. And that was perfectly set, in my opinion. Now, yes, the first few scenes were a bit misleading. I thought the first person that was shown was actually the prince, but he wasn't. He was just a prince of a kingdom who was an ally of the King of England and who does later on become a rebellion and does pave the way for the older son, Henry, to become king. But that was a bit misleading. But in a sense, I think that was good. I think that was good because it gave the whole movie a bit more character, and I loved it. I honestly loved it. Um, Based on like the older son's knowledge and experience, it just felt like he's a bit more experienced, a bit more calm, a bit more um, like tactically driven, and therefore his main motives were clear. He just wanted peace, and that was evident, and that was likable. I think that was good. But everyone like it was obvious that everyone wanted to control him, plus everyone wanted to rebel against him. So he had a lot of work to do, and he chose, which I thought he chose wisely, and the movie does a great job in deceiving the audience where I thought he chose wisely. He chose his trusted people. He chose like one or two people that he trusted, and one of them was, of course, the man who was close to the earlier king, and then the second was of course his friend, right? Who he knew and hung out with a long time, and who was a war veteran and everything. Um, Besides the people that already are giving him false advice or just are sort of spinning him around in circles, like the archbishop and everything, who are encouraging him to go to war, encouraging him to fulfill his father's ambitions to conquer France and everything. There were other things at work which you don't notice, which some people might notice. I didn't notice. It was a surprise when sort of the new king Henry's his right hand man, the guy who was guiding him, who's helping him, who's making him understand things, was actually manipulating him to get more lands. Now that was an issue with me. Um, Sort of like the main villain who does reveal himself at the end, which turns out to be the right hand man of the new king. He only did this so he could acquire more land and be a bit more wealthy. Like, okay, that is sort of a motive good enough. Yeah, to want to be more wealthy. Of course, you can't be as wealthy as the king. So what do? You manipulate the king and you try to do stuff that way. But I don't know. I felt like he should have done more. Maybe the movie should have showed that maybe he was in line. Maybe he was so close to the crown that if everyone in the royal family died, the next person would be him or something, and that would have been a bit more ambitious to me. Where lead him to war. If he dies, you become king. If he doesn't, you get more land. Win-win. But that wasn't the case. Now his motive was sort of enough, but that was like a tiny issue that I had, which I was like, okay, you just did this for money and land, and eventually he was gonna find out, and he did, but not by himself, which was a good thing that the movie did. It continued his overconfidence, and it showed kind of how that he has a lot more to learn. Yes, he's a king and he's won now battle, like maybe one or two battles, but it doesn't mean he's experienced now. It means that he still has a lot more to learn. People are still manipulating him, and he still needs to trust the right people and not trust everyone. And that was evident till the very end, until he found out that this man manipulated me, had me believe there was an assassin here to kill me, and therefore made me kill my cousin, who I thought was colluding with France, and then made me go to war with France and take it over, which he did. He did that in the end, but he found out very late through the daughter of the French king, let's say, who was like, "Why the hell did you do this? Like, okay, you got to earn my respect. Now you tell me, what did you win? Why did you do this?" And I think that girl, she stole the movie. In the end, she was like, "Oh, I just see a naive boy who's trying to play king." Like, she stole the movie. I mean, yeah, this guy, all the characters did a really good job in the movie, but she really stole the movie. She looked him dead in the eye, be like, "Okay, you're king. Okay, cool, but you know what? What the hell did you win?" Like, really solid, really good, and I just loved it. I was like, "Girl, you killed it." I just love that. I think overall this movie is a solid 9 out of 10. Just a little issues with, I didn't know what really drove the prince away from the king initially, and how the kid who is older, who I thought was more experienced, was actually turned out to be very naive. And I thought that maybe the guy, or maybe there could have been a few more people trying to manipulate him, or maybe he should have had a bigger motive, let's say, an even bigger motive. But those are minor things, but that kind of leads to a 9 out of 10, I think. Overall, yeah, I think it's a 9 out of 10. Solid movie. I recommend everyone watch it. It's on Netflix. A really good time, honestly. And yeah, anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you think my thoughts are right or wrong. And let me know if you want me to do any other movies or TV shows in terms of reviews. I am catching up. I am trying to watch as much as I can, but with work and university and all that stuff, it's hard. Anyways, guys, please do like and subscribe the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.